Hello everyone, Anton David is my name, aka Chidav, and I am welcoming you to this awesome video. In this video, we are going to be looking at agricultural herbicides, and I am going to be focusing on the importance of agricultural herbicide. So after we've talked about the importance of agricultural herbicide, we are then going to move into the types of agricultural herbicide. Now, the reason why I am doing this is because of the scarcity of information out there on the proper use of herbicide. Not even a whole lot of persons really understand the benefits of herbicide in agriculture, especially if you are doing agriculture on a large scale. So there's a whole lot of benefits you get to have when you make use of herbicides, and that is why I am bringing this information to you, as we always do, to keep you abreast, to make sure you do agriculture right, and to ensure that you do agriculture efficiently, so that at the end of the day you are getting very quality results. So there are just so many benefits of herbicide. Is it ranging from weed control? Is it the efficiency you get to have? Is it the food sustainability? Or is it in a situation where you want to have a zero tillage and still maintain the biological composition of the soil? You don't want to till it and then destroy the biological activities within the soil. There's a whole lot of importance that you get to derive when you make use of agricultural herbicide, and not just making use of agricultural herbicide, but making use of agricultural herbicides properly. So we are going to dive in and talk about a little bit about the importance of the agricultural herbicide. Okay, so stay glued and go nowhere. Peace. Agricultural herbicides play a very key role in today's modern day farming, and they are as follows. First one is weed control. Of course, that is the major reason why we make use of herbicide, is to control weeds. Now, when these weeds are controlled, usually without you make use of this herbicide, ordinarily the weeds will compete for water, for sunlight, for nutrients with your cultivated crops, and that is why the herbicide, agricultural herbicide, then come in to ensure that these weeds are eradicated. And what happens when weeds are eradicated from your field? That means your crops will not compete for this essential nutrient with this weed, which will eventually result in quality yield at the end of the day. Obviously, that is what every farmer wants. You need a quality yield. Next up, guys, is the control of pests and diseases. It helps protect the cultivated crops from pests and diseases. Now, it's not like your herbicides are actually insecticide or they kill these insects directly. No. One thing most farmers don't understand is that some of these weeds that compete for this major nutrient with your cultivated crops sometimes are host to certain pests and diseases. How do I mean this? Some of these weeds attract certain agricultural diseases that affect cultivated crops. So when the herbicide then are then introduced to this field and they kill off the weeds, what that means is that it has killed off those things or the holes that ordinarily would have attracted pests and diseases to the field, which would eventually infest on the cultivated crop. So that is why you have to properly use and effectively use your herbicide, so that you do not give these weeds opportunity to develop. You do not give this weed, which would then serve as host to these harmful agricultural diseases and pests that eventually infest your cultivated crops. It doesn't give them chance to develop and then become really harmful to the cultivated crop. So it's the earlier you introduce your herbicide, the better it is. So that becomes a major importance of why you have to always ensure that your field is weed free, because certain weeds are host to certain diseases that then affect the cultivated crops. Okay, that is another major importance of herbicide. It helps protect the crops from weeds that serve as host to certain pests and diseases on your already established field. Another reason why you have to properly use herbicide effectively on your field is because the use of herbicide ensures efficiency of labor. Now, I'm going to do a very quick breakdown to you. Now, when I mean efficiency of labor is you have a labor carrying a knapsack spray of 16 liters, 15, 16 liters. That guy can effectively apply herbicide on 6 plots of land, which is an acre of 4,000 square meters, which is the area of 1 acre of land, effectively, meaning he will do it thoroughly in a day. Okay, and then you could also use 2 labor or 2 guys who can effectively apply herbicide on your field to apply 1 hectare of land, which is 15 plots or 10,000 square meters in 1 day. 2 guys, which is 15 plots, now on a weedy field. Comparing that with manual weeding, okay, so when you manually weed your field, you need nothing less than minimum of 15 guys, meaning a guy to a plot to weed manually in 1 day. So meaning when you now compare the use of herbicide, which would save you cost on labor, okay, and it's still way efficient, because once you apply that herbicide on that field, it's going to suppress that weed for about, a very effective herbicide will suppress the weed for about 8 weeks. And then if you use manual labor, you weed your field manually, what is going to happen is, like, just give it a week, the weed is going to start sprouting back, especially if it's during the rainy season. In few days time, you start having the weed sprouting back. So the effective use of herbicide helps in labor efficiency, or it helps with labor efficiency, weeding, meaning you are going to use less labor to achieve a wider area of land, which simply means you would have more labor to carry out other operations on the field, instead of just having them on the field, manually cutting or weeding this unwanted plant out from your field. So you see how important it becomes now for you to properly use your herbicide. I've been emphasizing on the word properly use. Of course, there are improper ways of using herbicide, which would then affect not just the crops, but also the people who will eventually consume those crops. Okay, but then we'll get to that point. Okay, that is why you have to effectively or properly, use these guys to achieve way more on your field. So that is where the labor efficiency comes in when you make use of herbicides. So there's just a whole lot of benefits of using herbicides on your field. Guys, proper use of herbicide will definitely lead to increased yield at the end of the day. It's definitely going to lead to that. Now, this is what I mean. If you have a field that you have effectively maintained or managed and ensure that there are no weeds competing for sunlight, air, and nutrients with your already cultivated crops, what that is going to mean is that these crops would eventually grow to their full potentials, because every single nutrient in the soil and the ones you are going to be using to amend the soil will be available to your cultivated crops. So definitely in no time, once they reach maturity, they would reach their full potential, because they are going to have access without competition from any other unwanted crop. They are going to have access to all of the nutrients, and they would definitely grow and develop to their full potential, which eventually lead to increased yield. And what is the essence of even cultivating for commercial purposes? Is it not to get quality yield that would then compete or have better comparative advantage over other crops coming from other parts of wherever you are cultivating from, or wherever your location is? That is what you want to have at the end of the year. An effective use of the herbicide will ensure that you get quality yield at the end of the day. Not forgetting also, time management is key, because when you make use of your herbicide, you are going to save a whole lot of time. I give an analogy, or I give an illustration where you have two labor effectively applying herbicide on 1 hectare of land, which is 2.5 acres or 15 plots, depending on the dimension of plot, but then which is equal to 10,000 meters square, which is the area for 1 hectare. You have two guys applying herbicide in a day, compared to where you would have had about 10 to 15 guys using hoe or cutlass or cutlasses to achieve the clearing within a day. So it is definitely going to save you time. Also, it's going to be cost efficient, because now you are only buying knapsack. If you were probably doing a manual weeding, or probably you want to do manual weeding with your brush cutter, you will need more than one brush cutter. You are going to get a whole lot of brush cutters. Or you want to make use of weeders, you are going to get a whole lot of weeders. And then you are also going to be maintaining all this equipment. You are going to be buying fuel for each of this. If I make use of a tractor, you will also definitely buy diesel or gasoline, depending on the one the equipment is using. Or if you are making use of a brush cutter, you will definitely get gas, whatever it is that this equipment use. And then there's also going to be maintenance practices to management practices on each of these equipment, compared to when you make use of herbicide. Now, sure, when you make use of tractor could be effective. You till the soil, till the weed, but then they have also their side effect. Definitely, it's also going to affect the ecology of the soil, what happens in the soil, the life within the soil, okay, which also help with the sustainability of the soil, which helps with ensuring that the nutrients that you apply are broken down into the forms that will be available to this plant. And when you apply your organic manure, there are certain organisms also, if they are not fully decomposed, that are present in this soil. But now when you destroy their environment, or you destroy their place of living through manual tilling of the soil, turning the soil upside down just to cover up the weed and all of that, you are definitely going to affect their environment, and it's definitely going to have a way of affecting or reducing the quality of what you get at the end of the day. All right, so there's a lot of benefits. So when you want to practice a zero tillage system where you are not disturbing the soil, you want the soil to be in a solid state, no disturbance, no external factor from you disturbing the soil, you are definitely going to be needing herbicide to achieve all of this. So it helps with sustainability, it helps with time management, okay. And if you can't, in farming, in agriculture, in commercial farming, time plays a very important role. Time will determine what you're able to do. And if you have a system of weed control that would afford you enough time to carry out other operations on your field, why not do it? And it's effective. So that is why it becomes very, very critical as a farmer for you to understand the importance of making use of herbicides. So guys, in case you don't know, I need to tell you this. Herbicide, the proper use of herbicide contributes greatly to global food security. It enables farmers to meet up with production on a large scale with limited resources, because they are able to use herbicide to control effectively or manage effectively weeds competing with their already cultivated crops. So this has really helped a lot of farmers meet up with the food demand on a daily basis by the ever growing world population. So it becomes very, very critical in contributing to global food security. But guys, however important herbicide use is, we must not forget that everything that has a good part also has a negative part when it is not properly used. And that is why you as a farmer or you as an agriculturist must use herbicides responsibly. You must use herbicides responsibly. You have to ensure you use herbicide responsibly so that the negative impact of herbicide will not be felt. Yes, the wrong use of herbicide has a negative impact on human health, on the environment. Okay, so it also has negative impact even on the crops. Definitely it affects the crop, then humans consume, and then it also affects the environment. Okay, so how do I mean? It simply means there could be residual effects. Okay, and your crops take up these chemicals into their tissues and transfer them into the fruits they get to produce, and they are harvested, sold, and then people consume these chemicals that then affect their health negatively. So it becomes very, very critical for you to ensure that you properly use the herbicides on your field responsibly. You also need to understand that as much as we want to contribute to global food security, we must also ensure that we are not found contributing to the negative impact that a couple of people or a lot of persons are experiencing today. We have, the growing rate of cancer and all of that. So this could be some of the reasons, there's a whole lot of, people exposed to carcinogens and all of that. So a whole lot of persons exposed to cancer through food they consume. So this is one of the reasons when the farmers that produce wrongfully use the herbicide. Now, this is what you should know. Every brand of herbicide has a recommended dosage already. So don't go and invent your own dosage that should be used on your field. Follow the recommendation and ensure you are not using it excessively. Okay. Now, I would also encourage that you use an integrated weed control system where you combine different methods of weed control. Chemical control simply means the use of your herbicide, because your herbicides are obviously chemical. So chemical control is one method of weed control. There are several other methods of weed control. We've also talked about the manual weed control. There's also several other ones, biological. We still have cultural weed control, and then there are several other methods of weed control. But I would recommend you consider an integrated weed control. You could use mulching. That's a system of weed control. You mulch the open spaces so that you just reduce the rate at which you use herbicide or chemicals on your field, so that you don't, in the process of trying to produce or contribute to global security of food, now pollute the environment or contaminate this produce, which would then put people at the risk of several health complications. So we don't want any of that, and I am very sure you also do not want any of that for anybody, you yourself, family members, or the people you sell to. Okay, so if you want to use herbicide and you are confused, do want to reach out to an agronomist, guys. It has to be an experienced agronomist, and that is where we come in at Chidab Agricultural Hub. We are here to help you get started on the right path. We are here to ensure that your agricultural journey starts smoothly. There are a whole lot of persons who are just coming up or who are just starting out newly. You don't have to take the risk of wanting to do it all by yourself. Reach out to us at Chidab Agricultural Hub. We will be more than happy to help you get established the right way, because it is our joy to ensure that you do it right and you are not also contributing to negative impact on health, but rather you are contributing to food security and quality health in your environment and the world at large. So guys, you have to ensure you always reach out to people that have better experience than you in that your agricultural space, and ensure you start on the right note. We have been able to understand the importance of the use of herbicide, the responsible use of herbicide on our field. But guys, in our next video on herbicide, I am going to go a little bit further and then talk about the types of herbicides available, the types of agricultural herbicide that we have, because you definitely need to understand the different types of herbicide for you to understand the one you want to use. So in our next video, I am definitely going to talk about the different type of agricultural herbicide so that you know which to use on your field. Okay, so it's going to be super informative, and I really want you to go nowhere. So if this is your first time coming across our channel, Chidav Agricultural Hub, all you need to do right about now is to punch on that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and do well to give this video a thumb up, because you definitely want this video to be available to a whole lot of other persons who need to hear about the benefits or importance of agricultural herbicides on their field. And also you want to also see that people are doing agriculture right. So share this with family and friends, and also do well to check out other amazing and informative video from Chidav Agricultural Hub. Guys, I really need you to do agriculture right. And for your farm setup you want to establish commercially, all you need to do is reach out to us, go to the description, send a message, and we will be more than happy to get you established the right way. So stay glued, guys. Peace.